So now we will create an account group, new Java class, account group. So account group, we'll just place the side by side, right, just like this. Okay, so account group will be somewhat similar to implementation of an account, right? So it needs to implement iAccount because it behaves as an aggregate of multiple accounts, but we'll be able to accomplish the same thing. So let's see what that looks like if we try to actually program it. Right, so we say implements account. And by the way, before we proceed, let's just say that the account here says get privilege, set privilege, get account, add account. We just, I think, we just need an override annotation here. Override, right? So we just say override to be sure that these method signatures match the actual interface methods. And so let's see, our account group, basically what it does is that it does not so just like an account, it needs both. It needs the ID and the privileges, right? So we can use that pretty well. So it needs some constructors. Yes, we're going to add some constructors to our group and decide what they should be. Okay. And we will be implementing. I just think that we can do we can do very similar processing here in terms of the operations that we're using. Let's see. So get ID, get privileges will work fine. Set privileges. So here, set privileges is going to right now update this, but again, the choice may be that all children accounts for this group may also need to be updated. Get account. So this is where we actually locate the account, locate that specific ID instead of just returning a null. So very likely that what we're going to need is basically this. We're going to need an array list, right, to make everything dynamic. What we need here to add to account group is that we're going to say that our account group will contain an array list of interface references, iAccount, that we can manage within this group. Right, so just gonna say fix imports, which will import the array list for us, and so here when we say add account, clearly now instead of throwing an exception, we can use accounts, right? We can use these accounts inside our account group, and say we'll just simply say add, right? Add this specific account that was given to us as a parameter. Okay. So now, if we're looking for specific account ID, it's very likely that what we're going to do is that we're going to, again, because ID could represent groups, both groups and accounts. If we look at the ID, we can still return this if it matches the ID of our group. Otherwise, we're just going to say for, right, for each iAccount, for each iAccount in the accounts collection. Right here. What we're going to be checking is that we're going to need to say if if account ID, dot get ID, I need this get ID to add to my interface. I think this integer get ID needs to go to the interface because it just makes sense. All right, so we're going to add this to the interface right here because we actually need this everywhere else. So over here, get ID from the account. Again, this is another override, so just remember to keep adding override to everything that's being overridden. Okay, so and of course I also need this this operation inside my account group, right? Inside my account group. Oh, I already have it, so I just need to say override, right? Because now I made it part of the interface. So account get ID, right? If we find the account inside of our account collection which matches the ID that was given to us, then we obviously will return that specific account, because that's the object that the user is looking for when trying to locate it, right? However, if we have a composite that contains other accounts, I think if we do have a composite that that contains another subgroup, we may have to instead of just returning null, because the situation may be that what happens here is what the situation may be that we have this account group object, right? So we have this account group object, and it has some other descendants. So some of the descendants are accounts. However, one of them or others are groups, right? Subgroups. So in that case, we may have to call. We may have to check that subgroup whether it contains a subaccount with that ID, right? So basically the ID may be over here and we're looking for this ID, so we may need to be checking with the subgroup whether it has that ID in one of the children. So basically what we do here is that we make this direct children approach to test everything, right? To test whether its ID matches the account, and we can return. Otherwise, we can say that if, right? If we can say I account temp, for instance, right? If this temp equals account, and say get account with this ID, and if temp, if this temp does not equal null, so that it actually, subgroup returns something back, then we return this temp, because this is one of the children, which appears to be a part of that, sub-account or subgroup. So that's, this is almost like an optimization, because in case if it's an account, basically this may be faster, but ultimately we can we can try even something like this to simplify things, to make things more generic, because get account within a regular account class will say if my ID is the ID that you have been requesting, I'm going to say return this, right? So this will be this will work just fine. And with groups also, it says that if I am an account group and you're asking for ID that matches my ID, I will give you myself as object that you can use because you're requesting this specific ID. So anyway, this seems to be a bit redundant. It may be a bit of a faster maybe to check for an ID, but we'll just for now we can just keep that part of code. And if none of it works, then we just return null and say no, couldn't find that ID in this subgroup, right? And so that's pretty much the set of methods. And now if we say get privileges, we can basically the next set of challenges, I think, how do we actually combine the privileges of all of the how do we manage this composition of account privilege combined with its parent, combined with its higher parent, and so we combine all the privileges to say both groups and the individual account privileges are accounted for. So we need to solve that problem later on. But let me first go back to my main program and just see if we can just run a little bit of a demo here. First of all, let's we can just do some testing just like we tried over here. So first of all, let's fix the array list import, right? So we fixed that. New account group. Oh, I might have forgotten the constructors here. So the constructors, yes, the list of constructors is empty. So it seems like I can use very similar constructors, right? These constructors should work just fine for the account group, right? A constructor that takes an ID and another constructor that takes both ID and privileges for the entire group. So that should be fine. Right, so and now this get account situation. Again, so I'm thinking that instead of using array list here directly, how about I will just say iAccount. I'm going to use references all the time, and I will call this a root. Okay, say root equals new account group, right? New account group, just like this. New account group and construct it with ID number 1, right? Something like that. And then I can say root add new account. Actually, the method is add account. So this account will be placed inside the account. So then we say root, right? Add the new account group and create a subgroup of accounts. Then we say iAccount, and we can say root, right? Root get account for ID 123, and then we can say now this specific account. Again, this should say add account over here, right? So then we say account, root, get account, set privileges, right? So we get to the specific account here, and we say set privileges, set privileges, set privileges. Where do we have set privileges? Over here. Get privileges, set privileges. Set privileges takes integer. Yeah, everything should be able to compile fine, I'm expecting.